All right, hello wine drinking people, we're back. It's still Tuesday, May 5th. This is the third segment in our show today. The third seminar, the Great Wine Seminar, was Domaine Armand Rousseau, and Eric Rousseau, the third generation, was here to present his wines. This is one of the landmark properties of Burgundy. Domaine Armand Rousseau was one of the first producers to realize the value of bottling his own wines as opposed to sending them off to negociants and letting them bottle the wine for him. He realized this was one of the most important things in terms of putting out outstanding high-quality wines on a consistent basis. And this practice goes back to the 1930s, as I mentioned. This domain today owns some 14 hectares of vineyards, and they make 10 different wines, most of them Grand Cru level or village wines at a very, very high level, and some great Premier Cru wines that are better than most producers' Grand Cru wines. Okay, as I mentioned before, the domain was started at the beginning of the 20th century by Armand Rousseau, who had the majority of these vineyards. Actually, he inherited Gevrey-Chambertin, and then he began to buy things in the 20s. And he was around when the appellation system was created in Burgundy in 1935 by the Institut des Appellations d'Origine, and this was when he was buying up all these properties, Mazy-Chambertin, Mazeroy-Chambertin, which is now called Charmes-Chambertin, many of these lesser-known appellations that are very close to each other. They will allow you to name them one or the other, allowing them to take advantage of the more popular name and allowing the wines to sell a little easier in markets like the United States. So the first flight of wines that we had at this seminar was 2005, which I'm sure most of you know. That is an outstanding vintage in Burgundy. We started out with a little village wine, the Gevrey-Chambertin, and all of these wines had this exotic spice to them and this lovely, almost candied fruit-like nature to them. They were just exotic in one word. If I could use one word to describe them, that would be it. The Gevrey-Chambertin is a blend of 9 different parcels, and this wine had those exotic spices, this bouquet, this floral perfume note, this lovely raspberry and wild strawberry Jolly Rancher fruit. Really nice, bright, and fresh on the palate. This wine is still a baby. All of these wines see 100% new oak. They don't like to use old oak because he doesn't want to the potential of dirty barrels getting into the equation. The Charmes-Chambertin Grand Cru, outstanding. Again, lovely floral notes, Jolly Rancher like strawberry and raspberry candy. Clos de la Roche, all these wines kind of going up a level in concentration and complexity going through them. And the Clos de Rousseau, this has been a monopole of the winery since 1977, spicy. And then the Gevrey-Chambertin Clos Saint-Jacques Premier Cru. This is a Premier Cru that should be Grand Cru in quality. A little bit of that Animal Sauvage to the wines. Really exotic, really nice. And this is Grand Cru in stature, in my opinion. And then finishing up the O-Flight with the Chambertin Clos de Bez. Really nice. All these wines excellent, the most excellent to killer in quality. The next flight we had was a flight of Chambertin. This Grand Cru, very exotic, light raspberry fruit, again candy, the 07, lovely perfume, very exotic, one of the best 2007 Burgundies that I've had. Then we went to 2006, a little more forward vintage, a little more drinkable style wine, but still very seductive, this lovely minty herbal quality to the nose in that one also. And then the 2005, a real blockbuster, killer wine, this 2005 Chambertin. 2003, a little bit marked by the vintage and the heat. It still had this lovely exotic spice and very seductive though, and maybe not quite as built for aging as the other wines. 2002, a bit of barnyard starting to show up on the nose here. Notes of lunch meat, leather, very nice cola. 2001 and 2002 vintages that are drinking very nice right now. I'd highly recommend, if you have those in your cellar, to open them up. And then the 91, a wine that really starting to show nicely. This was kind of an overlooked vintage because of how great 89, 90, and 88 were. 91, a very nice vintage and drinking really nice right now. 1990, the blockbuster in this flight. This wine was killer. If you have 1990 Burgundies, you don't have to worry about drinking them for another several years. They still have a lot of life ahead of them. The 88, also very nice. A little bit of a tannic vintage. Took a little bit of time to open. Some lovely gamey notes on that too. And then the 83. Eric thought that was a little travel weary, but I thought this wine was really nice, starting to really show the truffles and the earthy side of this wine. Outstanding. That was Seminar 3 for the Great Wine Seminar. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasone, saying, remember, always drink the good stuff first.